Let me introduce to you our esteemed chief guests for this evening. Our first chief guest for this evening is Mr. Nadeem Babar. Mr. Nadeem Babar is an internationally experienced professional in the energy sector. He is the special assistant to the Prime Minister of Petroleum. He was the chief executive officer of Orient Power Company Private Limited Pakistan and Sabah Power Executive Company Limited Pakistan. He has spent 2 decades in the United States, including many years on Wall Street as an investment banker, and his last position was running a $4 billion division of a Fortune 100 energy company. He did his BA from Columbia University and a BS from Columbia University as well. He brings rich management experience, development expertise, and international fundraising access to this endeavor. Thank you, sir. For our other chief guest of this evening, we have Humayun Wazir. Humayun Wazir is the founder and CEO of Crest Ventures. A visionary by nature, he established himself as a key IT export space in the mid-90s, and now he aims to reshape the stage for Pakistani tech startups with a preference for innovative aims to reshape the stage and ideas advocating for social change. He is the owner and CEO of Crest Ventures and the president of the Tide Award chapter, which is basically a non-profit entrepreneurship network to the world. The company has been in business for more than 6 decades now. The offices are diverse on major cities in Lahore, which include Karachi, Lahore, and Faisalabad. The company has also included other market leaders in the sector, including textiles, sugar, insurance, and financial services. The company provided different financial sector services, including textiles, food and beverages, steel, financial services, and the CSR and the education sector. Sir, we are honored by your presence. Along with this, we also have a chief guest of honor here with us today, Mr. Kuram Zafar, also sitting in front. He has made a patron in this entrepreneurial society of Aitchison College, a director of 47 Ventures Limited, member of the Prime Minister's Task Force on Technology-Driven Knowledge and Economy. He is a board member and the director of Third Class Pakistan. He is also in the investment committee and Cyber Impact Asia 1. He currently runs National Incubation Center, the Pakistan Innovation Foundation. He has made a member of that as well. Fortune 500 and venture capital consultant. He is also a well-renowned entrepreneur all around Pakistan, a capital investor, and Prentice Hall published author and blogger at techies.in. Sir, you again are honored by your presence, sir. Honorable chief guests, esteemed delegates, and my fellow associates. Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to the closing ceremony of the 7th edition of the Aitchison Business Council. We will begin the ceremony with the recitation of the Holy Quran, for which I invite Muhammad Hal to recite a few verses of the Holy Quran.
اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم صدق الله العظيم.
After 3 days of intense debate, competition, and mesmerizing socials, we hope that regardless of the words, every single one of you has learned something substantial to take on with you for life, and that this conference has proven to be a memorable and inspiring event for all of you. Now I would like to invite our first chief guest, Mr. Nadeem Babar, on stage to grace us with his words.
Since the subject is of business, I'm just going to spend maybe 5-7 minutes talking about business. As the cliche goes, change is the only constant, and this can't be more true than for business. Business is constantly changing, globally as well as locally. In that environment, what separates the winners from the losers? I'm going to give you a few life lessons as you start your college careers and then on to your working careers. There's a difference between a manager and a leader. And often people don't realize how big of a difference there is. That wasn't me. Now, manager manages a business, but a leader leads. What does that really mean? Well, when the business environment is changing, the leader has the vision to not only see the change, but lead that change. The manager deals with that change, and within that changing environment survives as best as they can, managing their company. But unless you have vision of where the industry is headed, or where you think the industry should go, you will be left behind. Many of you may not know the name, but some of us here who are the older ones remember Kodak as the dominant player in photography 20 years ago. Everything, cameras, prints, films, everything was Kodak. What happened to them? They disappeared. Why? They disappeared because they did not see the change coming. That the photography business will completely shift to digital, and therefore the films that Kodak made will become irrelevant and become redundant. And that's what I mean when I say that leaders lead. They have a vision. They change the industry. They lead the change. Managers manage within that environment. So the question then comes up, how do you become a leader? Because surely you would expect all of you here competing in this competition. We would hope and expect that you grow to be leaders one day, leading businesses. So of course that's a wide subject, but I'm going to just talk about two themes for you today. Take any product, or even services, and whatever is the cost of delivering that product to the consumer, generally it has four components. One is what we call raw material. One would be what we call labor. One would be a financial cost element. And then the fourth element, which is probably the most important, and that's what I want to focus on, is what I am going to call intellectual property. The fourth component, what I'm calling intellectual property, you can call it expertise, you can call it knowledge, you can call it intellectual property. Here is what happens. Why are the developed countries or developed economies more developed and the less developing countries are not developing as fast in many cases? Well, there are many, many reasons. But one major reason is the focus on the intellectual property, the knowledge base. The misfortune of less developed countries is that they always want to make the same thing at cheaper cost. But those who are focused on knowledge-based economies, they want to develop new things. They want to lead that change. They want to create new things. And as a result, the value of their companies, the value of their businesses, the value of their economies is dramatically different. Now, a few years ago at a conference, I gave an example with some numbers. Those numbers probably have changed by now, but fundamentally, the message I wanted to give at that time is still true today. You know, today an iPhone is sold for roughly $1,000. The new iPhone one, latest model. The cost of manufacturing that a few years ago was about $36. Today it may be $50, $55, $60. Why does it sell for $1,000 when the cost is only $50, $60? Well, it sells for $1,000 because it's not the raw material, it's not the labor, it's not the financial cost that they're selling. It is that knowledge that they're selling. It is that intellectual property that they're selling. That is where the value is. So if you are a leader in a business or in an economy, you are not focused, you should not be focused on saying, well, I can make the same widget at 10% less cost. Because if that's what you do, at some point in the future, the widgets will go out of business and you will have nothing to show for it. You really have to look at what is it that the future holds and be a leader in bringing about that change, as opposed to trying to do the same thing that everybody else is doing, just trying to do it a little cheaper. So that's the difference between a leader and a manager. So with that, I just want to leave you with one final thought. The global economy is constantly changing. It is evolving. There are sectors within the economy that are winners, and there are sectors that are losers. And there are sectors that today do not exist, that 50 years ago nobody thought could go out of business. I will give you a very simple prediction today. The banking sector that today still remains very vibrant and a major component of the global economy, in 50 years' time, nobody will be able to actually see the banking sector. It will disappear. It will become invisible. It will all be in cyberspace. You will not see bank branches down the street. It's going to go through a major transformational change. So sector after sector after sector, the global economy is in for some major changes. And in those changes, you can only be a leader if you have vision as to what the future holds. And frankly, you can actually create that future. Again, I'll go back to the smartphone. 20 years ago, nobody thought they needed a smartphone. 30 years ago, nobody thought they needed an iPad. Today, it's become an integral part of many of our lives. You create things, and once you've created things, you've led the change. So always remember, as you finish your college careers and go into working lives, always remember, industries that are mature, or in some cases even dying, you have to be the absolute best to do okay. But growing industries of the future, even if you are average, you have so much potential for growth because of the change that they are bringing, because of the change that they bring. So I'll conclude by saying, all of you, some of you may remember my speech, those who attended it at the at one of the sessions here a couple of months ago, where I talked about privilege and responsibility. Remember, you're all privileged, and if you are privileged, it is expected of you that you should become leaders for this nation, for this world. And for you to become leaders, you have to open up your minds, and you have to realize that business never stands still. To be the king of mediocrity and manage things well is not good enough. You have to rise above that, and you have to become leaders. Thank you very much.
Now I would like to invite the second chief guest of the evening, Mr. Maya Mazir, to come up on stage and grace us with the
Fellow chief guest and fellow Aitchison. I got a call about a week back from Aitchison, and I got scared. Anytime I got a call from Aitchison, because I had done something wrong. So I'm from batch 22, and I was the baddest and the most naughty person in that batch. So I was scared. So, and after Aitchison, the only reason I've ever come to Aitchison was probably the Bangalore. I hope they taste equally good nowadays. So I left Aitchison, went to the US, came back and started working in Pakistan about 32 years back. Amongst many things which Aitchison gave us, I think one thing which was a major takeaway was our motto, perseverance, right? So perseverance has been very important in my life. That what we learned in Aitchison sort of helped me go through various ups and downs in life. The session here today is about entrepreneurship. So first of all, the entrepreneur is a person who takes a risk. He puts in some cash to start a business. So by nature, entrepreneur is a person who's got a risk appetite. So that some people say entrepreneurship can be taught. Mostly it is believed, maybe it's inborn, it's there, and you can hone it. So when I run an angel fund, means I'm an angel, but angel investment angel investors are people who invest in tech startups. So when I meet a founder of a company who's typically an entrepreneur, the first question I ask him is, so let's say if you swim, when you get into the pool, do you check the temperature of your feet before jumping in or not? And most of the times people who dive in, regardless of whether the pool is cold or hot, are the people who have the entrepreneurship gene in them. So currently I look after two organizations. One is Press Venture, which is an angel fund. So we invest in tech startups. So average age of a person I'm interacting with about half my age, so about 22, 23 years old. They have stars in their eyes and they want to change the world. That keeps me young. The other organization I represent is TIE. Now TIE is the Indus Entrepreneurs. It's the largest non-profit entrepreneurship network in the world, with about 65 chapters, 3 in Pakistan. So, there are two types of people. If we look at Pakistan today, we have a population bomb. A lot of people say it's a ticking time bomb with our demographics. Majority of our population is below the age of 35. So the glass is either half full or half empty. I look at it as something which Nadeem earlier said, you the privileged God, you have to be entrepreneur and create jobs for them rather than join the job market. So I would encourage you all, not only the people who competed in this competition, but others also try to get into entrepreneurship, start some business. We will need tons and tons of businesses in future to provide jobs to all these people who are coming into the job market. So, like Nadeem rightly said, what Pakistan needs at the moment is more entrepreneurs. And I'm very happy to see, I didn't know, this is the 7th edition, so hats off to the administration for, doing something about entrepreneurship. So what is my advice to all budding entrepreneurs? How many of you guys know Steve Jobs? Have you ever heard of him? Okay, quite a few. So he said something very interesting. He said, stay hungry, stay foolish, and follow your heart. So what does stay hungry mean? Most of the time we see people in Pakistan, without hearing a proposition, they say no. So stay hungry means be open to propositions. Stay foolish, and the principal is looking at me with, stay foolish means not to do something foolish, but take some risks. So if you don't take any risk in life, there is no reward. And follow your heart and follow your heart. If your heart is not into what you want to do, the chances of succeeding in that are, I think, quite low. So when I was young, and I came back, I started working. I was given this example that this guy came back to Pakistan and said, I want to change Pakistan. So he tried, and after a while, he was from Punjab, he came to Punjab and he said, I'm going to change Punjab. From Punjab, he came down to Lahore. From Lahore, his his locality, and eventually he said, okay, I'm going to fix my household. End of the day, he said, if I can fix myself, that would be a great achievement. So they don't take on a challenge. Your objective or challenge should be something which you can achieve with a stretch. So, although you should aim for the moon, but you should be realistic as well. So Rumi, who I follow, how many of you guys have read Rumi? Okay, a lot of them. He said something very interesting. So my parting thought on this is that, he says, when I was young, when you were young, I wanted to change the world. Now that I'm wise, hopefully I am, I want to change myself. So good luck with this competition, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
I'd like to invite the principal on stage along with our two chief guests to present a small token of appreciation for our students. Directors for registrations, Ahmed Hussain, Saad Atif, and Zaid. For the directors of promotions, we have Pranay Raj, Jesse Kaveh, and Rohit Raj. For directors of photography, we have Zian Balzit. For the directors of public relations, we have Ali Bilal, Muhammad Khan, and Wali Robagan. To directors of social media, we have Ahmed Farhan and Amir Mustafa. To directors of coordination, we have Ahmed Chowdhury, Javed, and Hussain Osman. Our managing director for this conference was Umar Mukhtar, without whom this event could not have been possible. So we thank Umar for his efforts. Our managing director, Umar Mukhtar. For directors of security, we have Sadiq Sufi and Daniel Ritchie. Our head boy and deputy head boy are not present here with us today, so we move on to our directors for hospitality, Abdullah bin Mohammed, and our directors for finance, Ibrahim. For director liaison, we have Isai Paul. To director publications, we have Inam Saad and Kazim Lakri. For Director Logistics, we have Nabil Bukhari and Roman Khalid. For Directors of Organization, we have Ali Gold, Kuman Ali, and Edward Shaw. Directors of IT, we have Maya Kyas and Arun Basuri. For Director of Transport, we have Sheikh Hussain. Now we would like to invite the most credible, talented batch of event heads that Business Olympia can have. The secretariat of ABC DII to come up and receive their shields for their work and tireless efforts. First up, we have the event heads of Rubicon, Shameen Awaz and Hamza Shabazz. Social entrepreneurship, we have Sal Asim, Abdul Aziz, we have Zain Conville and Ibrahim. For money, we have Shamir Aziz, Mohammed Zain, and myself, Mohammed Kursani. For our meeting, we have Hassan Salman, Mahal Kakir, and our President Salman Nizam. We have the boss and also on the line. Now, I would like to invite the CFO of this conference, Shamir Aziz, to say a few words.
I'll start off by telling you about a group of Aitchissons who every year go to an international trip to when Emmy went abroad, which is probably for these boys the most anticipated and exciting trip for their year. However, this year I decided to stay back along with Umar and Muhammad Zain to not go on this trip and help with Aitchison's age-old pioneering entrepreneurship to India at ABC. And if delegates during the course of these 3 days, the ABC team could inspire even one of you, aspiring, dreaming, young entrepreneurs to get up, to take an initiative, to leave your comfort zone, inspire others, and be the change that you wish to see in the world, then I have no regrets whatsoever. Anyhow, a conference of such caliber cannot be anywhere near possible without the perseverance, effort, and contribution of countless individuals and bodies, whom even thanking in a speech does not do justice, but it's the least I can do. Let's start with the departments of our institution, who have been working in the background tirelessly, helping us hapless students running around, requiring all sorts of work, from the works department to the gardening and grounds department, the IT, games and sports, security, and the sanitation department. We may take these all for granted, but ABC would be nothing without them. Thank you to all the judges who came, adjudicated our rounds, and enlightened us with their experience and knowledge. To Sir Kamran, Sir Zubair, and Sir Tajid, thank you for making sure everything goes smoothly and ensuring that nothing problematic arises anytime. And to Sir Iqbal, who has been on our side from the very start for any and all coordination required. Thank you. To our hostess, Madam Ramna, who was there to correct us when we made a mistake, who was there to help us with whatever we needed, commend us on our rights, and being a pillar we could always depend on. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, sirs, for supporting our initiative and ideology, and for always being a staunch advocate of such progress and exposure for students in high school. And most importantly, thank you to our staff advisor, Sir Shamil, for everything. Brainstorming with us. For example, the idea for yesterday's bonfire, which turned out to be great, by the way, for correcting us when we were wrong, for inspiring us and picking us back up when we were down, for celebrating with us for our wins, and for always being a constant source of assistance and support. Sir, ABC is truly nothing without you. Thank you. And for all the people I have missed, which I am sure there are a few, I apologize, and ABC is for sure indebted to all of you. But now to the delegates. Delegates, please always remember how important it is to serve the people around you. Because no matter what position, designation, or status you have, there is always an importance to serve others. Because someone is sitting in the shade today only because someone planted a tree there many years back. And I'll end with a quote which I hope ABC has at least partially inculcated within each of you to take back in your life forward. Do not worry about failing. You only have to be right once. Thank you all so much for coming. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed and learned during the last 3 days, and I hope to see you all next year. Farewell.
This year's Rubicon was a toughly contested 3-round category in which delegates were able to show off their public speaking skills. In a very close second, third place, the runners-up for this year's Rubicon are team from Mountain of Jesus Mary. The winners of this year's Rubicon by a margin of 12 points head and shoulders public competition are the new school being found.
Next up, we have the Vendors for Social Entrepreneurship.
Good evening and Assalamu alaikum. We know you've been waiting for this moment for a long time, but there are a few things we'd like to add before we announce the awards. This year at Social Entrepreneurship, we came with an idea to give back to the society. When we designed the rounds that we set for you, there were challenges pertinent within the society that we wanted us, the privileged community, to look up. And it is with a great success that me and Ahad can clearly state that the solutions that you provided were the ones capable enough of tackling the problems pertinent within the society. So please, a round of applause for all the others. With that, we now move forward to the awards.
The awards for social entrepreneurship are as follows. The runners-up are CJM Team B.
The winners of this category was the team which had the most pertinent marketing strategies and were able to convince the most of the judges as to why their ideas were the ones who needed to be selected. With that, we call up on stage the winners for this year's social entrepreneurship, the new school.
Next up, we have the awards for Best of India, represented by General Secretary Hasan Suhail and Aitchison.
This year at Best of India, we had two rounds in which we went from detailed investment reports to an interactive real-life stock market simulation. And to announce the result, I am extremely pleased to announce especially the result because this was an unexpected prize for us all. Our own host team A won the result prize for this year's investment.
The winners of the category did extremely well in the first round as well with a very detailed analysis on their own investment strategy and then went on to create a really diverse investment portfolio in the second round for the interactive stock exchange market. So I invite we can now start it down to receive the award.
Next up, we have the awards for Mall Street.
Greetings and Assalamualaikum delegates. I was honored to host Mall Street this year, the latest edition to ABC. I won't go into further details and just announce the runners-up. The runners-up for Mall Street this year is TNS Team D. And the winners for this year at Wall Street is LGS 55 Team B.
Next up, we have the awards for Visual Idea.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I believe that it's safe to say that Visual Idea being the Football Street category was one of the most competitive categories we had in this year's ADC. We saw juxtaposition in ideas from small-scale vacuum cars to cars which live. I believe that it's safe to say that we'll see all in this very category. I won't keep you guys waiting for long, so we move on towards the reserve.
The runners-up for Visual Idea this year are the New School Team B. biodegradability. The winners for Virtual Idea this year are the New School Team A. Next up, we have the awards for money.
This year, a new category at ABC was money, in which we simulated a sort of an MUN, except obviously with an entrepreneurial twist to it, in which each team was assigned the CEO of a phone company and were then presented with a crisis, a worldwide crisis, which would threaten the business of all phone brands we currently know and love. With that, we proceed with the awards.
With that, the runners-up for money this year goes to CGM Team A.
own brand which was representing Razer. And now for the winner of money this year, TNS Team B.
Next up, we have the awards for the most anticipated ad making.
Assalamualaikum ladies and gentlemen. The awards for ad making at ABC 2020 are as follows. The runners-up goes to CJM Team A.
And the winners for ad are CJM Team B.
Lastly, we have the category for which the name speaks for itself, the basic race.
Assalamualaikum ladies and gentlemen. This year the Amazing Race was the most interesting as well as the most toughly contested category at ABC. Now I'd like to call Nawaz Ichi to announce the winners as well as the runner-up.
Assalamualaikum. For runners-up, I would like to call CGM Team B. Winners for this year's Amazing Race is 55 Team B.
Thank you, sir. With that, we conclude the category awards for this year's. And now, for the moment, all of you have been waiting for the Best Delegation and the Runners-Up Best Delegation Award. The runners-up for ABC this year are CJM. Thank you. certainly not the least, the best delegation for ABC this year are the new school Beacon House.
My name is Salman Abdullah, and it has truly been an honor to be serving as the president for this edition of the Aitchison Business Conference. Needless to say, this event is the result of the hard work and dedication of these gentlemen who have worked day and night over the past 2 months to ensure that looking back, we can cherish the time spent in Aitchison over the past few days. Being the biggest high school entrepreneurial Olympiad in Pakistan, we were thrilled to see an exceptional number of delegates across 8 categories from all over Pakistan in companies in this pursuit of learning. There are certain individuals and departments without which ATC wouldn't be what it is. Starting, of course, with our honorable principal, Mr. Michael Thompson. Sir, thank you for your unwavering support and encouragement. This event wouldn't have been a success without your guidance and mentorship. I would like to thank our registers, Madam Amna Kamran, and our Deputy Headmaster, Dr. Kamran, for all their support. Every event at Aitchison College aims not only to serve as a source of learning, but also entertainment and joy. This edition of ABC would never be a success if it wasn't for you delegates. Lastly, I would like to thank each and every individual that has been involved in ABC in any capacity, from the PMs to people from the gardening and sanitation departments. It is your efforts that have made the event what it is. To my friend Hassan Sohail, you are not the General Secretary of the society, you are the co-president. You filled in the places where I went short without taking any credit. Thank you for being my friend, and thank you for being a part of this society. I would like to conclude by thanking the one man behind the conference, the backbone of the entrepreneurial society, Sir Shams. Sir, thank you for taking this journey, not only unforgettable, but an exceptional learning experience. Whether it was 7 at night or 1 in the morning, you were always more than willing to help each and every one of us. All our journey to the distinguished judges we invited to the conference enabled it to reach new heights. Our society wouldn't be the same without you, sir. I know these speeches are supposed to be devoid of emotion. However, this is an overwhelming feeling which I must verbalize. Thank you to my parents for making me who I am today. Today marks the end of my journey as the president of this society. Looking back, I wouldn't have reached here where I am today without mom and dad. This is Salman Abdullah, President of the Entrepreneurial Society, signing off. God bless you all. God bless you all. God bless Aitchison College.